What is up, More Church?
Man, super glad that you're here to be a part of everything on Team Sunday.
That's right.
If you are a volunteer here at More Church, would you stand up? Stand up. If you're a volunteer in any capacity, come on, get on your feet.
Come on.
Come on, put your hands together for these
job,
people.
Y'all. Good job, y'all.
They're the ones that make the ministry happen week in and week out.
That's right. You know, today, Pastor Truston and I are dressed as coaches.
That's right.
Because we get the opportunity to coach the team here at More Church.
I just need a whistle.
I know. I wish we had one.
I would have just been whistling at all kind of stuff,
Yeah.
blowing all kind of things.
There you go.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, Aaron's got a built-in one. Now, I have the privilege of leading a couple different teams here. The first is the staff team. You know, the staff of More Church is unbelievable. We could not do what we do without the leadership of our staff team. So would you put your hands together for our staff all over the place, making ministry happen?
They have the best skills, but also the best hearts. And
That's
so
true.
I'm super grateful for them.
Then not only that team, but we have our elders and our directors that
That's
are part
right.
of our team. Our elders are the extension of the pastoral arm. Our directors help with all the finances.
If you're an elder or a director, stand up so we can honor you.
Come on, stand up. Elders and directors, stand up. We got them in the back. We got some up here. Yeah, all over the place. A bunch serving in kids.
That's right. We're super grateful for them.
So grateful, so thankful for them. Today, we're talking about how we need to get off the bleachers and onto the field. Come on, somebody.
Come on.
Tonight, our nation gathers to watch a few guys play a game. Thousands of people are going to be sitting in bleachers while only a few people are playing. And you know the heartbreaking thing about many churches is there's only a couple people that are actually on the field while most of the people are in the bleachers.
Yep.
But here at More Church, our heart is that you would not attend church, but be the church.
That's right.
That you would use your gifts and your talents to advance the kingdom of God.
I can hear somebody in the bleachers right now saying, though, Pastor, really? Are you taking an entire day to talk about, like, serving in God's house? Is that really what you're taking the time to do?
100%.
How come?
Because the Bible says that Jesus came to establish his church.
That's right.
And did you know that I do not have the ability to do everything that's needed? I can't. I'm one dude. I'm not Superman. That would be awesome, right? I try to tell Rachel that I am, but I am not Superman. I am just a one-man team, but together we can accomplish everything.
That's right.
Even Jesus himself recruited 12 men to be around him to get the ministry done. And so we're going to take some time today to talk about how you can get off the bleachers and onto the field of ministry.
Yeah, because each one of you have been given a gift by God.
That's right.
And he wants you to use your gifts. In fact, in 1 Peter 4:10, it says, God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of gifts. Use them well to serve one another.
Right.
If you have the gift of speaking, then speak as though God himself were speaking through you. And that does not mean sitting on a stage with a microphone, but that means speaking when you're given the opportunity.
Right, that our greeter team is speaking, welcoming people to the church. There's people in our kids ministry speaking to parents and speaking to kids. That if you're in a life group, you're speaking. That I think sometimes in the church we think that this is the only mouth that should speak. Your words are valuable.
That's right.
What you're doing is important, and so share those words to reach other people. Keep reading.
It says, do you have the gift of helping others?
Okay.
Do it with all the strength and energy that God supplies.
Yeah.
I love this one because we say it all the time on our staff team that energy is a choice. Now that's not being fake, but that's deciding that even when it's cold and rainy, I'm going to show up and smile and show the love of Jesus, because when someone did that for me, my life changed.
Yeah.
And because I know that and understand that, then I'm going to show up with all the strength and all the energy that God has given me. And then everything you do will bring glory to God through Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The whole point is that it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about us. It's about Jesus. And it's about pointing people to him and his truth and his love. And that's what we get to do when we serve. It says all glory and power to him forever and ever. Amen. So be it. That's just the way it is. That's what this means.
1 Peter chapter 4 is talking about how we need to build his church. But then it says this in Exodus, the beginning of the book, second book, it says this. All who are skilled among you, who got skills? Y'all got some skills to pay the bills?
Got some skills.
I got skills, you got skills. All who are skilled among you are to come and make everything the Lord has commanded.
So good.
That you're supposed to use your gifts, your talents, your abilities to not just build your kingdom, but to build God's kingdom.
Right.
And that's why we're talking about how you can get involved. And then I love Ephesians, last verse, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. It's talking about what our pastor's job is. Because the pastor's job can't be every job. It says pastors, their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his work and build up the church, the body of Christ. My job is to just be the coach.
Right.
To stand on the sidelines and call the plays and to help everybody know what position to play. And so today we're going to help you get off the bench and onto the field.
That's right. And I'm excited because we don't want you to have to take our word for it.
That's
we
right.
brought some of our incredible friends who have really been the shining example of what it looks like to get off the bleachers and onto the field.
That's right.
And we're going to talk to each one of them today because they all have a unique perspective that they bring to the table and a unique understanding of why they do what they do and what God's doing through them in their ministry and where they're serving. And so first up is my friend Jason Ayala. He leads our usher team, and he does an incredible job. He's always got things handled. Anytime I walk up to him, I'm like, hey, Jason, do you know? He's like, Pastor, I already got it. You go do what you need to do because I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jason, we're so glad that you're a part of More Church and everything that you do. You know, if anybody exemplifies a guy who doesn't just attend church but takes on some ownership here,
That's right.
It's you. Why do you do that? Why do you treat More Church like it's yours?
Because it is.
Right.
I mean, this is, well, we say it's our house.
Yeah.
When you go to church, at some point, it's the house of God. This is my house. This is the house we share. Family, life group, serving. And just that mindset to me, as if it's my home, then I need to make it my own. I need to host it. I need to be present in it.
Yeah.
If you go to my house where I live,
Right?
if I'm having a party, we're party starters.
That's right.
So if we're at party starters, maybe you don't identify with a party starter, but you come to church and you celebrate God.
Yeah.
So if we're going to celebrate during this party, you're going to plan it. You know,
That's
you're
right.
gonna put it on Facebook. We're gonna send out invite 9 and 11. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
We're gonna welcome you to the house. I'm gonna welcome you to my house.
Right.
So we welcome you at church. First impression day. I'm gonna tell you where you can get the refreshments. We've got refreshments. I'm gonna tell you where to take the kids. We can tell you where to take the kids. I mean, this is my house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like at my home,
That's right.
I'm going to lean in. I'm gonna welcome you. I'm gonna do the things that need to be done. Because it's mine. I'm going to take ownership of it.
love
So
it.
good. You know, over the last 6 months of being here in Arlington, clap for Jason. He's so wise. We've seen a lot of new friends come and be a part of More Church. How soon after they've started attending do they really need to wait until they decide that it's theirs, that they get to take ownership of it?
As soon as God tells you this is where you're supposed to be. I mean, God doesn't make mistakes. If he brings you here and you feel it in your heart, you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And at that point, if this is your house, make it yours.
Yeah.
Make it yours. How
So
do you do
good.
it? Just make it yours.
Yeah.
So good.
So good. I love it. You know, Jason, I think that a lot of people might not sign up to be on a team because that means that there's some commitment. Because, like, if you're not on a team, then nobody knows if you're here or not here, and so there's nobody checking on you. What would you say to somebody who's kind of afraid to get committed to be on a team?
Mm-hmm.
It's really not a commitment once you start.
Huh.
And I'll be honest, goodness gracious, when Terry Burleson was, hey, bro, I need you to serve. I'm like, hey, I need you to serve again. We had 4 services once upon a time, and it was exhausting. Set up and tear down, it was exhausting. But once you step into it and you start to make connections and you start to build that community, it's selfish. Sometimes I'm selfishly serving because I just want to be here.
'Cause it
I
gives
want
back
to see everybody.
Yeah.
And it stops being about what you have to do and what you get to do.
Come on,
like we
somebody.
say.
Good.
Come on, somebody. So good.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, next we've got my man, Mason. Mason Tremaine. Mason serves all over the place, but I think on the youth team, but then on the media team. And what I know about Mason is that he is a party on wheels. The guy is so much fun. He's always laughing and joking and smiling. Do you have a fun time serving, or do you feel like you're like back in detention? Just
I serve because it's fun,
Good.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my, leave me alone, man. See, this is what I'm talking about.
it's a church built of class clowns.
Yeah,
It's basically
actually, yes.
what More Church is. Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It's the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah. And so when you started serving, tell us a little bit about what that looked like for you, because I know you like started in one area and then you shifted to other areas, and like tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was, this man, Jason, won't leave me alone. No, so we started serving right after COVID, actually. We were supposed to serve beforehand, and then COVID happened, and we're like, well, dang, we're just not going to serve anymore. We're just not going to go to church. And as soon as we went back to the pig, we started serving, and I actually asked Enrique. I just caught him in an alleyway. I was just like, "Hey, Enrique, I want to serve. What do I do?" And he literally goes, "Here you go," and led me to Jason.
Yeah.
And then Jason tortured me for like 8 months, and then, no, I'm just kidding. It was great. But yeah, I just asked Enrique, "Where can I serve?" And he told me Jason, and that they needed help on the usher team, and it was fruitful from the second I said yes, and that led to my wife and I. We were dating at the time. We got on the internship back then, and that led to us serving on youth on Wednesdays. And then Easton one day was like, "Hey, do you want to help in production?" I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, I would love to, whatever you need."
I love
and
it.
yeah, it's been beyond fruitful since then.
And now you're everywhere. What I love now is that anytime there's a need, I know I can just go find Mason, and he will help fill the need.
That's right.
And so next up, we have our friends Chris and V&A, and they've been a part of More Church a really long time.
Yeah.
They've served in different areas and different capacities, and what I've loved to watch, though, is over the last 6 months, I've seen you take a step.
Yeah.
We needed leaders for the welcome team, those who welcome in the people who visit for the first time, the people who are new here, and your names came up, and you took the step to say yes, to be the leaders of this new team, to take a whole nother level of leadership and serving. And what I've loved to watch is you really have blossomed into like totally new people. Like I always knew you, I always loved you, but now guess what? There's more, and God has had more for you in that. Tell us a little bit about that journey and what you would encourage other people to do.
So, when I got asked to speak, I feel like the Lord brought me to this movie clip about actually a sport we love, which is baseball. It was about a little boy in a little league who kept going up to the plate and striking out and striking out and striking out. And so at the end of the movie, of course, the coach comes up to him and he pulls him to the side and he says, "Nothing great happens when you hold back."
Wow.
And so then, of course, the story goes, he goes up to the plate and he swings the bat and makes contact. And I just kind of feel like that's been our story. Like we have served on several teams that maybe didn't work out for us or whatever, but this last time, it was like God said, "It's your time, don't hold back, great things will happen." So we put the ball in play, and the best part for me, I think, and for both of us, is the encouragement of More Church. They cheer you on to more. They're encouragers, and they believe in you, and that's helped us step into the more.
Yeah.
Really good.
Go ahead, Chris. What do you got?
We started 6 months ago. Of course, we've served in other capacities, but like Pastor Whitney was saying, we went ahead and stepped up to the leadership role, and it's just been amazing. I feel like we've grown, and if you're on the fence about serving, go ahead and get off the fence. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
So
like my
good.
wife said, this church will encourage you and cheer for you, and it's just a blast. And I love meeting all the new people.
Yeah. You know, what I wish is I wish that I could stand out in the lobby every week before service and meet every first-time guest.
Right.
But I just can't. I'm prepping and getting ready and getting my head in the game for the message that God's given me. But having Chris and V&A out there and their team greeting new people, it extends that welcoming face of the church. And so that's ministry.
Right.
And I'm so thankful. V&A, I love what you said, that you guys were a part of a couple other teams and didn't really feel your fit. And that's fine too. And so maybe you've been at another church and you served and got a little burnout or worn out. Come on, man, it's time to jump back in the game. Or maybe you signed up and, you tried and didn't like it, or you didn't reply on the email and so it got awkward or whatever. Let's get over all of that and say it's a new season. It's time to jump in the game.
I love it so much, and what you said about don't hold back. Why are you holding back? Maybe that's a question we should all ask ourselves, because here at More Church, like you said, our job as coaches and our job here in this house, the culture, the heart of this house is to cheer each other on.
Yeah.
And so there's no safer place to go all in than this place, because we're going to keep cheering you on, pushing you to more, encouraging you that you can. And so there's no reason to hold back.
Yeah.
Instead, so why don't we try in this next season to say, hey, God, I want the more you have for me. And so I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to trust you that you're going to catch me, that you're going to put me where you want me, and that I'm going to find the more you have for me.
So good. All right, up next is Robin.
Okay.
Robin, love this dude. He leads our safety team. And so what I know about Robin is that he's willing to see a problem and solve it. Just the other day, he was in one of these back storage rooms, and a shelf was broken, and he saw it, and he took it home, welded the shelf up, was bringing it back. We didn't even know he was doing it until
Right.
Pastor Tim caught him in the act. Said, "What are you stealing our shelf?" And he's like, "No, I'm the opposite. I took it home and fixed it." And I love it that he doesn't just point out something wrong, but he says, "You know what? I have the ability to fix this thing and make it better." And so, Robin, thank you for having that heart.
Yeah.
But why? Why do you do that? Why is that who you are?
So I believe in a philosophy of there's two kinds of people, and obviously there's multiple, but you know, you have a choice. We all have choices in life, right? You choose to be kind on the road, or you choose to road rage. There's choices.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it's tough. Well, there's some people that can look at something and criticize it. They can think judgmentally. And there's people that see something and they can choose to make it better.
Right.
And sometimes even today, like I was up at this refreshment thing and the little tiny trash can was overflowing, and I was like gonna tell somebody, and I'm like, just fix it.
Yeah.
Like it's just trash. Like just dump it out. And so I dumped it out. I mean, it's not that, it was just a little decision. I feel better about myself. I'm helping out the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
So
that.
true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ownership. And it's like what Jason said. I mean, this really is our house. And even from a safety perspective, and he and I have had this conversation, I mean, you know, somebody sketchy, of course, none of y'all.
None of y'all are sketchy.
Guy in the back corner.
Yeah, that guy in the back corner, yes. But somebody sketchy comes in the house,
Rob.
then you're going to be
Hey,
watching them a little
Rob.
bit more closely, and that's kind of what our
Right.
team does. So
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's so good.
I'm so glad that we have the safety team of just some men and women that are playing that sheepdog role to just keep some eyes open and see what's happening, even on Wednesday nights, that they're just here kind of being attentive, because you never know. You never know what kind of weird, everything from like something dangerous or just something that's an interruption or distraction to what God's trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for you leading that team.
And just to honor you, Robin, because of your heart and that culture, that's the culture that now your whole team has. I was here on Wednesday with the youth team, and one of your team was like, well, can I use the iPad? I can see the cameras better, and I can really watch things more effectively. And we were all like, sure, whatever next steps you want to take. And they were trying to make it better and build it. And that's a culture that you've established too, and I love it. It's so good.
What else?
So one of the things that I'll say, so we started here just before the pig, so not that long ago. And I've never been to church. I've never gone to church. This is literally my first church that I've regularly attended. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
when I started coming here at Matlock, a couple services, I didn't know anybody. And it was, I mean, y'all had 4 services, and every service was packed, and I'm like overwhelmed. I'm not a shy person, but you just can't get to know everybody.
Right.
And so when we moved to the pig, I got in the back of a trailer, and I immediately made friends. I had friends that I'm still like super tight with, like Kyle and Billy and Walter and, you know, Jason. Well, you were in a trailer. He was inside. Anyway, I just pretend to like him. But this family of friends that I have, not only because they're on the same team that I'm on, but just in other capacities that I've served.
Yeah.
And so if you feel like you're coming to church and, I don't know, I just don't know anybody, well, join a team.
Right.
Just try it. And
It's really good.
you'll find that the value is not only in just serving, but it's the community that you build. It's kind of like a little life group. It's like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
like we're praying for each other or whatever. So yeah, man, again, get off the bench, but it's really been great. And I love this place. So
Awesome.
So
Thanks,
good.
Robin.
Thank you, Robin. Next up is 2 of my favorite young adults, Sam and Colby Yates. They have been a part of More Church for many years. I've watched them grow from young guys who weren't married to now get married and be all that they are in this life. But you know, what I love about them both is their hearts to say yes no matter what. Sam and Colby both all the time are like, where can I serve? What do you need? How can I help? Colby all the time will say to me like, hey, Pastor, if there's anything going on today that you need extra help in, I'm here, I'm available.
Right.
And being available is all that God asks of us. We don't have to have the perfect skills. We don't have to always have it all the way figured out, but being available, it's what I so appreciate about Colby's heart.
Yeah.
And Sam, you want to say something about Sam? You
No,
do it.
I was going to say, Sam, I love it because she professionally is a photographer.
That's right.
She travels around and does big events and
Weddings
and mini sessions,
Mini sessions,
all these
mega
things.
sessions.
And people pay her
That's it.
great.
That's
People
it.
pay her great money to go and take pictures, but she uses that gift here at church and never sends me an invoice.
Right.
She shows up, lets somebody schedule her, has a camera. You see her run around taking pictures. Then we use that stuff on social media and all over the place. And she uses her money-making gift in God's house, not for profit.
Right.
And what a gift to the kingdom.
Yes. So good. So Sam and Colby, tell us a little bit about why you have that heart, why you serve, what God's done in your life as you said yes to step into it.
Yeah, definitely. We started attending more in 2018, but we were coming for like about 6 months, not talking to anyone, just coming to service and then leaving afterwards. And it was just kind of us two, not really a big community. And then we decided to join a life group and then start serving. And then just from there on out, it was like inflow of community and love and just blessing from God. And it's been really cool to see like us gain lifelong friendships, lifelong mentors through serving and through being in a life group. And just with my gifts, dreams that I had from in high school, it's been really cool to see God put me in a place where people were able to pour into me and teach me more than I already knew, so that I can now have my business that's able to support us. And it's just really cool to see everything that God has been able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think back when we did start serving and started being, super involved, like, yeah, I've always had that heart of like wherever I'm needed, just point me in that direction, I'm fine with it. But serving in all these different areas has really shown me like there's more than what I thought I was capable of doing and what I thought I would like put myself into a box of like, this is what you're doing, this is what you can do. But serving has opened that to where there's so much more. Like now I'm on production team, I serve in youth, and I do, wherever I'm needed. But just stepping out and serving has changed everything for us.
I love that so much, Colby, because I think for many of us, we can feel like, well, I don't really even know where my gifts are. Right. I don't even know where I should serve. I don't even know what my next right step would be. But just saying yes is what allowed God to unlock, really, you said, to get you out of a box. Sometimes we put ourselves in a box.
Yep.
God doesn't put us in a box, but we put ourselves there. And we think, well, this is what I know, so this is what I'm comfortable with. These are the gifts this is the gifts that some coach or some teacher called out in me, so this is all I'm good for. But God has so much more. And I love the fact also, if I could just share of the two of you, because you've allowed that community in your life, what I've watched is like, how many of you know those young adult years are the hardest years, right? As you're like establishing your life and your family and your business and all the things. What I've seen is that through struggle and hardship and maybe some heartache and some different relational dynamics that you've been able to be poured into by mentors in your life. Right. And then what I've watched is you walk humbly in obedience to what God is speaking and to what they're like encouraging you. And I love that the opportunity of serving allows you to get out of maybe some other boxes that you might have established. Oh, this is my personality. Oh, this is the way I think. Oh, this is the way my family handled conflict. And instead, when you allow yourself to be put outside the box, then you can grow into all the more, not just in serving, but in every area of your life. And I've watched the two of you blossom into incredible human beings. And that's why every time I see Sam's business like doing so good, I'm like, yes, y'all, shouting it down, because you do something that a lot of 45, 50-year-old adults won't do. But giving all of your talent and ability and placing your provision in God's hands, not in some serving capacity's hands, but you said, hey, God, I'm going to give this freely, and I'm going to trust you to build it. And that's exactly what he's done in your life.
So
it's
good.
so good.
So good. Nailing it.
They're nailing it.
So our hope is that you'll follow the lead and jump off the bench. All right,
That's
who's
right.
next? Who's next?
Next is Wendy. What I love about Wendy is that Wendy also serves on our production team. But you've heard Mason say it and Colby say it. They serve on our production team. But, for Wendy, a lot of those guys back there are young, 20-somethings, and they're like super technology. Like they grew up with an iPhone, like where we didn't receive them until we were much older adults,
I was rocking a beeper for a number. Where are all my beeper people at? Y'all know? Page me, bro. Page me. 911. What's up?
And so, Wendy, it might have been easy to get a little intimidated about joining the production team because you are more mature and seasoned in life and maybe not as technologically savvy. And also, do you want to hang out with a bunch of 20-year-old dudes, in your team that you're serving on? But you said yes, and what I've loved watching you serve. You're so faithful. You're the one whose name I always hear when anything falls apart. They're like, let's call Wendy. She'll show up, she'll serve, she'll be a part. Why did you take that step? What made you do that?
As I was thinking about it, I've been a Christian for over 51 years. And the guys and ladies back in production, I can be their grandmother, most of them, but you can't be intimidated. Right. Whether you've been a Christian for one day or 51 years, you cannot be intimidated. We do this because we love Jesus, right?
Right.
We serve because we love Jesus. Right. And so, when I was filling out the card for the first time, I think my gifting is administration. I believe that. I know that. Yeah. And so I checked one thing. But the truth was my schedule didn't line up with the schedule for administration. So I went a whole year without serving. So the next year, I'm like, I gotta serve. So I checked everything. And it was the production team that called me. And the last time I did anything in production, it was with a spotlight. Yeah. Because, that's all you had back then.
Right. That's amazing.
And I show up and there's 51 buttons, and it's like, what am I going to do with this, but they showed me how to do that. You don't have to be afraid. I'd say for like the 10-year-old in the room, like if you don't know what your gifting is, just show up. Yeah. And if you don't think you're enough, you are enough. God says you are enough. And if you're old like me, you're not washed up.
So good.
God still can use you. If you're in the bed, pray for somebody. If you talk to somebody, God can use you no matter.
It's so good, Wendy.
I think that what you said is great, that you're good at administration, and so that gift translated into you being on the production team. Because if you're on the production team, like for you, you're running lights back there, and so we put her behind this like spaceship-looking launch pad thing. And what that needs is some organization. A person who's organized. Me, I would not be paying. I'd be worshiping God, and I'd be talking to somebody, and I'd forget to hit the right button at the right time. But that gift translates from maybe a desk at an office to this to really help produce the service.
Right.
And so if you think you don't have what it takes, you might have exactly what it takes.
Right.
Your gift is transferable.
I love it. And I love that you didn't allow yourself or the team that called you didn't allow either one of those things to be a parameter of why you said yes or no, but instead it was your obedience to Jesus to say, I'm a believer. Yeah. His word tells me to use my gifts. They're asking me to serve here, so I'm going to say yes. Yeah. And watching what God's able to do through that is so incredibly exciting. And so you're a great testimony, but also a great encouragement that I'm like, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something different because I want to be like you. I want to keep being stretched into the more that God has for me. And so thank you for being a great example for all the generations that we can do just that.
All right. So good. Team Sunday, Treva and Bobby in the back.
Okay.
I love this couple. Now, I got to meet you guys for the first time at the Father's Day car show. Yep. And I went out there and they had matching Camaros.
Okay.
Like his version and her. Y'all met at a car show. Yes. Right? And so that's how they met.
At a car club.
And I was like, these are car people. These are my people. What's up? Tell me the story. And so got to know them. And so now you guys are a part of More Church and serving. And what I love is that they serve in different areas. I think that sometimes for couples, when you come into the church, it can be easy to just want to cling to the one person you know.
So good.
Because that's kind of like your insecurity blanket.
Right.
Like, babe, don't leave me because then somebody else might talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Rachel won't stand by me in the lobby. She gone talking to somebody. And so we had to learn that a long time ago. But I love that you guys jumped onto ministry teams in kind of different parts of the church, and then because of that have made new friends.
Right.
Talk a little bit about your experience serving.
So we've actually been coming to more. Last April we started. We had gone to another church. My husband actually served. I did not. And we came for Caroline's baptism. That's our stepdaughter. Yep. And at the house party. And I remember walking into Moore, and I'm just standing there going, everybody was so friendly, and everybody was so nice and welcoming. And I'm like, this is where I need to be. Wow. And I knew immediately that once I got here that I wanted to serve. And I wanted to be, I was an usher I'm from New Jersey. And, I was always in the church, and I was an usher there. And I said, you know what, let me just come to Moore and be an usher. And it gave me an opportunity to meet people. I met some really great people, part of the Sisterhood of Moore as well. And so if you're not on a team, I definitely encourage you. It's a great way to meet people. This church is absolutely wonderful and very welcoming.
So good.
Awesome. Love it.
All right, Bobby,
Ditto.
what about you?
Ditto.
No, I've always served. I've always been part of it. Like I said earlier, I only sing well in the shower. so I had to
same,
find
yep.
someplace else. Oh, thank you. I had to find someplace where I fit in, and I like being part of a team. I've made wonderful friends here. Lots of, I wouldn't even call them acquaintances.
Right.
There are lifelong friends here.
So good.
Robin, Jason, Chris, V, the Grays, these are all very close friends to me.
Yeah.
And they know what's going on, and we share a lot of things. Even the Grays and Jason have gotten me into re-engage with my wife
So good.
to work on what God is leading us to do.
Yeah.
And if you are timid, you like staying in the background, there's a team for you.
That's right.
We have teams for everybody.
It's really good. I love that because the resounding theme across here is that you make great friends and you build a community, and it could be easy in the crowd to be like, okay, what's the big deal about that? Well, the truth is the very first thing in God's word that he said wasn't good was that man would be alone. He said instead, I wanted him to have a helpmate. We believe here at More Church that we should know each other and be known, but it's impossible to know each other and be known if all we do is come in 5 minutes after worship has started and we leave the minute that we stand up to pray to close out the service. But when you are allowing yourself to serve and to get to know people, you said it, they're lifelong friends. They're not just Sunday friends. They're Tuesday friends.
Right.
They're friends you can call when in the middle of the night when an emergency pops off. They're friends you can call when you're on the side of the road and you don't know how to change the tire on your car that just blew out on the side of the road. They're everyday friends.
Right.
They're friends for the good, for the bad, and the ugly.
Friends are friends forever.
That's right. If the Lord's the Lord of men.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good.
You sing good in the shower too?
Yeah. See.
Exactly.
And so I love what y'all are saying. And the truth is, y'all you moved community forward quickly because you didn't wait to get on a team, but you jumped right in.
Yeah.
And because you jumped right in, here you are, not yet a year later, already with people speaking into your life, encouraging life change, encouraging your marriage, speaking truth to you, helping you take the next right steps in your life because you said yes to a team.
I hate to admit it as the guy who preaches around here, but coming to hear the preaching is only a small percentage of your relationship with God.
Right.
It's just a little bit, but really that growth in your walk with the Lord doesn't just happen from me to you. It happens out there in conversation with other people because you can talk about and apply what God's doing, and that's happening in our ministry teams.
I love it. It's so good. And then you guys mentioned re-engage,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is so good because our guy Eddie
Rubio.
He and his wife showed up not long ago. They went through re-engage our marriage ministry, and now they're helping lead re-engage our marriage ministry.
Yeah, and it's so good. I'm gonna let Eddie talk about it. Eddie, you guys are kind of new, relatively new, to jumping in with More Church. It's been how long since you guys been coming?
Basically May.
Yeah.
This last year.
Since May. And so, but you guys said, we're not just gonna sit on the bleachers, we're gonna jump on the field. So what's that process been like?
So my wife and I have been part of the re-engage ministry or the marriage ministry for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
Started at our last church where they wanted to start a marriage ministry, and we felt a calling, so we jumped in. We didn't have any previous training for it. Our leading to More Church actually started by individuals, couples that actually attend here. So we heard a lot of good things about it, and because of the type of brothers and sisters they are, we definitely wanted to come and check it out. And it was very evident that God was leading us here, and we made the move after being at our previous church for 16 years.
Wow.
Now, we didn't come because of re-engage, but we saw that this was a growing church, I guess, from this time, and we wanted to be involved, and we saw that there was a need. So, having served in the past, we said we're available. And then, of course, as God, in His provision, provided for this opportunity that re-engage was starting here. So we felt obviously comfortable. We wanted to be involved, and we jumped on in. And the love that we have for our brothers and sisters and the strengthening of their marriages is really become our ministry now, and that we're just so happy to be part of. I also come on Tuesday nights. We have the Mooring Club. That is a tremendous men's Bible study. I really like the fact that that More Church really has given an opportunity to partner and step out in faith and do something that I think is just a wonderful opportunity to serve and be part of this church and the movement that's really happening here.
Well, man, we're honored that you're here and helping with Reengage this semester and in the future. As a pastor, I could preach on marriage 52 weeks of the year. I mean, for us that are married, we know it can be a battle sometimes. Right. It can be hard. Our wives are crazy, right? And so it just makes it. Our husbands, they need a little bit of work every once in a while too. And so it's something we could talk about all the time, but really having a ministry like Reengage allows real progress to be made. Rachel and I were just talking with some friends the other week who went through Reengage, and they said, for us, it's been better than going to even marriage counseling. Because sometimes in marriage counseling, the first couple sessions is just y'all beating each other up in front of the counselor, and the counselor's mad. Counselor's on your side. Why is she on your side? It makes it hard. But in that group of people, you realize you're not the only crazy ones.
Right.
You realize other people are dealing with the same stuff.
Super
and
good.
It's there that real healing can take place.
No, I love it. It's so good. And watching you and Jackie not only step into leadership, but then really build the community around you and bring people alongside you, I think is such an encouraging thing to say, hey, we're doing this thing now, come alongside, let's build it together. And watching the community aspect of that has been beautiful to see. And so if you feel like, oh man, I could use some more community, I could use some more in my marriage, like getting a part of a team and being a part, it's a huge next step to how you can find your place. And what I love is that you didn't wait, you jumped right in.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of people since we've been here in Arlington that have come and visited for the first time, but you're a great example of not waiting to jump in, but just saying, I'm gonna use my gifts and go now. Go ahead.
I just want to add that one of the greatest things we get out of Reengage is walking with our brothers and sisters through a process.
Right.
And I can tell you that the rewards we get is not a pat on the back, but it's just watching the growth of our brothers and sisters and getting a better relationship with God, and by default, having a better marriage coming out of that.
Yeah.
So when we start Reengage, I just tell them all the time, I'm looking forward to the celebration night.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to see the change in them down the road.
It's true.
So good. No, I love it. And what I love is that as you serve, Eddie's saying it, as they're serving, it's building their marriage too. And as you serve in different areas, God's building you. As we're talking about building our church, building the church, building us. By serving, we're giving God an opportunity. When we pour out, we're giving him an opportunity to keep filling us back up. And that allows us to take a step into the more that God has. And so I just would encourage you, if you're ready to continue in growth in your own life, serving is the next right step.
I love it.
Some of our friends, that I've watched this in their lives is Moses and Amanda.
Last but not least,
Trevino. They're a power couple, as they say. They don't say it. I'm saying, as people say. Who's they? I don't know. But people say power couple, that's who they are. And they've served in ministry in lots of different capacities. Mo is one of those guys that could go and play the bass at another church anytime and get paid. But instead, he comes here and he serves and he uses his gifts. And God's blessing their life because of their obedience to be here. Tell us about it.
Dude, I love when Moses is up here leading. He'd be playing
what do you
that
say?
bass. He played the bass with a stanky face.
That's right. That's right.
I know when Moses is going, it's about to go down.
No, we actually, we're attending more because we actually came to support Pastor Phil. It was going to be his first Sunday, and we showed up the Sunday before, and so we came back the following Sunday to support Pastor, and we kind of just more. The people here are just awesome. And you can tell when somebody's being fake, and you can tell when somebody's being real. And they just left an impression on us. And serving is awesome. Being able to, it's a special thing to be able to serve the body of Christ. Whether you're up here, you're down there, or where nobody can see you. And No, it's a big blessing. I'm actually the product of somebody who served, and it's a big blessing, and I look forward to seeing my kids, being part of the church and seeing them serve, and no, it's been an awesome experience here at Moore.
Yeah. Well, man, we're glad to have you guys a part in serving. Now, Amanda can sang, S-A-N-G, sang.
She'd be singing. She'd be singing.
But what I love about her is not just her gift, but her spirit.
Yeah.
That when she's back and around in the green room, that you guys are not here to be pampered or loved on, but that you guys are really ministering. And I love having you guys a part of the team. Amanda, what's it been like for you? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when people have a big gift, they walk around with it. They got that diva. What's a male diva? Devo? I don't know.
Devo. I don't know.
That
Spanish,
mentality,
right?
and like this, they're super gifted, but yet they're humble, and I love that, and that's the heart of this house. That we would rather have the right heart than talent.
No,
their big talents came in, and Phil just doesn't schedule them. Like, let your talent and bad attitude go somewhere else. Yeah. But that we would really be a house of real worship.
No, there's such encouraging and answer to prayer as spiritual moms and dads. For those of us who lead, we have kids too.
Right.
And like for my daughter to have a godly woman with the right heart of worship, to be able to learn under and to really be encouraged by, I send them texts all the time. Like, thank you, because they can say stuff to her that I can't say, right? She ain't going to listen to me, but she going to listen to them.
Yeah.
And so thank you for your heart. Okay, now say words. Now we made you cry.
No, say words through tears. No, I'm super grateful. Moses mentioned that we've ministered together by the grace of God our entire marriage, which on the 19th will be 19 years.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
So for 19 years, we've been doing ministry together, doing music together, doing worship together, and we've had the opportunity to do this in multiple churches. We've done Play for Hire. That's been what we've done before, and it's been our experience that a lot of times ministry is lonely.
Yeah.
It's been our experience that you come and most people you talk to is the people who are on the team. You learn the songs, and as long as you're hitting the notes and singing it right and ending at the right time and starting at the right time, you're good. But I'm so grateful because from the moment we came here, we did come in to serve. Phil called us in and he was like, hey, come visit. Yeah, I hope you like it, but will y'all help out too? And obviously we were willing and so grateful because we came in and nobody knew who we were. Obviously, nobody knew that we had come in to sing. And before I ever sang a note and before he ever played a note, everybody was so welcoming.
Yeah.
And my children were, given attention. At the time, Ali had, we were coming off of a break, and Ali was a baby, an actual tiny little baby, and I was, sorry, TMI maybe, still nursing her, and we didn't have a nursing room at the center.
Right.
But Jason was every Sunday finding me somewhere that I could go if she needed to. And we came in and we're 2-3 services in, and I'm sold on Moore because my 11-year-old Lucas is like, Mom, I learned so much about Jesus today.
Wow.
And he's like, we'd come from somewhere that we'd visited churches obviously around that have the basketball courts and the PlayStations and given them a full course meal of all the snacks. And he's like, but I learned so much about Jesus today.
Wow.
And he's telling me what he's learning. And I'm like, this must be the place. Like, it must be it. And then for the first time in his whole entire life, mind you, my children have been raised in ministry. They've been at all of the rehearsals and all the services. And for the first time, JP, our 18-year-old, played bass for the first time at youth service last.
That's awesome.
So forever grateful that more came after our hearts and after our family and not just after our gift, because we'd experienced that time and time again. Yeah.
Oh God, and I wish that everyone would get that, because we're not doing this whole service to get you to serve for us.
Right.
But we are trying to come after your heart, because we know that if you'll serve, God has more for you, that He wants to show you and your family and your family's family. And it's a generational thing that when you're planted, not just positioned near God's house, not just showing up sometimes, but being planted deep within, that He can do the more. And we want you more than your gift, more than your talent. It's okay if you suck at it at first. That's totally fine.
Right.
Because we would rather you take the step to be a part and to let God do more through you and in you than for you to just wait until you're perfect to
Right.
show up.
It's true. You know, none of these people up here are paid at all. They volunteer, they use their gifts to build the ministry.
Yeah.
And they have a fun time while they're doing it. They're having a good time. They're making friends. I love what Robin said, that he's building a community of men. I think as guys, sometimes it can be lonely. And how do we find a friend? There's no more cafeteria or recess or no more 2-a-days practices. But when you get involved, you can really find some community and make some friendships.
Yeah. And so, we're not trying to trick you. We put a card in your seat when you got here.
Yeah.
And so that card is real. We want you to fill it out. And maybe you're like Wendy. Maybe you filled it out before and for whatever reason it didn't work out. Yeah, go ahead and fill it all out. Check all the boxes and see which one is the right fit. But we want to take some time, just a short amount of time before we close service, for you to fill the card out.
Yeah.
For you to say, hey God, which box should I check? Not, hey God, should I serve? I think his word and all of what we've talked about today is pretty clear that he wants us to serve,
Right.
but where should I serve?
Yeah. As the coach, so the coach's job is to put the right players in the right positions. Let me tell you some areas of need right now.
That's right.
More Church, I believe, is about to hit a growth phase. That we're not even growing yet. That God's just getting a foundation ready. But before we're ready to grow, we need help in our kids ministry and next gen. Now, we're doing a great job, but as more kids start coming in and more things that we feel like it's time to add,
Right.
we need people to be willing to serve in kids, to serve one and sit one, to be in kids and come and get the word for yourself. So kids, or then in production. And it might look like on Sundays everything's working, but some of this team is stressed out and running around, and we need some more positions to help in the production team.
That's right.
Now, if you're like, man, I feel like the Lord's really telling me that I'm supposed to be in this area, well, then check that box. But if you're saying, I don't really know where, but I'm willing to serve, then kids or production would be a great place for you to jump in and use your gifts.
No, it's so good. I love it.